Real. All right, now we just gotta wait on the Instagram to get up on a Monday, and then we're gonna be good to
What's wrong
go.
with my
This
camera?
Instagram. Hello, hello, hello. It's your boy, former the Beast One, now Rodney Glover, joining us today in Dad Mentality Podcast. We got a great show for y'all today. I've been looking for this gentleman. I've been excited and waiting for him to come on. Found out, we were related. Some people actually sent me his stuff. And I started watching him and following. I was like, yo, he's related to me and he's a great man and father. I had to get Jamon Glover on here live with us. Get your questions ready. Come and join us. And let's just have a good time as we get ready to, get into some fatherhood. He is the CEO, creator of the Father Figure Institute. He's also is the author of the book, The Instruction Manual. But this is Dad Mentality. Y'all know what it is, Dad Mentality.
What is Dad's mentality? What it is? The mentality of taking care of family. As a man, I get lonely. I can't even call my homies, but I answer every call when my kids call me. I'll be there when they need me. They depending on me. They looking up to me. Sometimes we gotta fix our mental. Or maybe it's not meant to be a dad, a father, that's what men do. I made a promise to my kids, that's what I do. I just want them to do things better than I do. Or better yet, better things that I did. What is Dad's mentality? What it is? The mentality of taking care of family. As a man, I get lonely. I can't even call my homies, but I answer every call when my kids call me. I'll be there when they need me. They depending on me. They looking up to me. Welcome to the show, shout out to the coach. And Matty Ice Cold Crypto. And each one, teach one. That's mentality, we just try to reach one. What is, that's mentality.
Hello. It's your boy, the Beast One, Rodney Glover here, Dad Mentality Podcast. Thank you for joining us for another episode. I'm glad to be here today. Y'all know I don't do this by myself. Unfortunately, Matty Ice Cold Crypto is still working and having a good time stacking that bread. So, he's working tonight. Hopefully we'll see him in the comments. But I don't do this by myself. Y'all know me and this guy have known each other since we was 4 years old, playing in the sandbox. Now we do this great podcast to help everybody that we can. It's my man, Vance Robs, a.k.a. Coach. What's good, Coach?
What's going on? How y'all doing today?
Man, I'm doing good, brother. I'm doing good. Another great day. So I've been excited. I told y'all, like I said before, this gentleman is the founder of the Father Figure Institute. He's also an author of the Instruction Manual. Now, I might get some of the details wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's a 4-part series that has started out with the first installment called The Protector. I'm excited to talk to this gentleman about it. Not only he's a cousin as well, from Henderson, from North Carolina. I don't know if he's from Henderson, but I know he's from North Carolina. It's my man, Jamon Glover. What's going on, Jamon? How you doing, sir?
What's up, Dad Mentality? Yo, that intro was fire, yo. I love it.
Yeah, I try to take pride in my intros. I want to make sure people understand that I appreciate their time. I appreciate them coming to hang out with us. So it's something that we are definitely excited about. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and play a clip that gives our viewers a little bit of insight of what you are and what they're gonna get ready to get into as we get warmed up for the show today, and people start piling in, especially in the comments, and then we'll get into our regular, which is the mental health check-in. where people can tell us how they feel from 0 to 10. We'll talk about how we feel and what's going on the week. But before we get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and show y'all a little something about our guest today, and that way we can know what we're about to get into.
Good, everybody. My name is Jamon Glover, author of The Owner's Manual. Today, I want to read you a paragraph, the first paragraph of this book. This book is something that I'm very proud of, and it is The Owner's Manual, From Confusion to Confidence, Dad's Guide to Raising Children. The Protector, Volume 1, ages 0 to 7. So, if you have a child, let me just throw it out there like that. Wow. Yep. So if you are a father figure with a child between the ages of 0 to 7, or a niece or a nephew, or if you're a mom or an auntie, buy this book for your son, nephew, whoever, child's father. This book is going to take the heavy lifting off of you, because I know I've been the dad, especially when my first kid was born. I had no idea what I was doing. Didn't know. My wife seemed to have all the answers, and so I leaned on her to tell me what needed to be done. That frustrated her beyond all measure. Now that I think about it, there's so many things that I could have done, but from my first child to my last child, world of difference. And so this book is going to actually give you a little bit of insight into that. I'll give them a little bit of insight into that. So, Chapter 1, Role of the Protector. Jamon's story. The title is The Stork with the Broken Wings. In my childhood cartoons, a big, beautiful white stork would deliver a happy, bouncing baby boy to the doorsteps of nervously awaiting parents. They would unwrap the bundle of joy and celebrate the new baby's arrival with family and friends. If that story were true, my stork would have been smoking a cigarette, flying drunk, and crashing into every other building. I say this jokingly, but it may not be that far from the truth. That's just the first paragraph of the opening of the book. It is a very deeply personal story. This book comes from a lot of experience. I've also been a fatherhood facilitator since 2013, so that's 12 years now. Fatherhood, parenting. I'm certified in 3 different programs, have 5 children. So I have a lot of experience. Wow, 3 grandchildren and a 4th on the way. Yeah, I have a lot of experience. And so this book is my attempt to help simplify the process for you fellas and help you ladies with the load that you have to carry, whether you want to or not. So, The Owner's Manual. Check it out. I promise it'll be worth the read. Talk to you soon. Be blessed.
There you go. So that's just a preview of some of the things that we're going to be talking about. One definitely being the instruction manual. We're going to go ahead and do our self-care check-ins. I'm gonna go ahead and I've been starting off every week, so I'm gonna go ahead and let Coach get us a good start this week, and make sure y'all put in the comments from 0 to 10 how you're feeling, where you're rating, and those of y'all on Instagram, what's up, Mel? If you want to chime in, will we be able to read your comments? You got to go to dad_mentality on Facebook or YouTube so that we can read it. But I see you, Melin, on Instagram. What's up, brother? All right, that way we can put your comments up there, okay? But let's get ready to get into this. Coach, where you at from 0 to 10, and tell me what you're looking forward to, bro.
I think the last week or so I've been hovering, around that 6 range. I did, get some good news like on Friday about getting into a class that I wanted to get into. So I was undecided about the class previously, but I think it's going to be a really good class for me. So just, been hovering around where I was last week, still going through some things, still in that valley. Gotta, focus on myself right now and make sure that, I'm keeping, myself positive on some things. So that's kind of where I'm hovering at. Had a really good day today though. So Day started off rough, got better as the day went on. And now we're on the show. So, let's just, get to it, get it done, and keep pushing through. You know what I mean? If you remain positive, positive things will happen. So I'm just going to try my best. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we always say on here, man, you gotta know the hills and the valleys of life. I mean, they always gonna happen. So you make sure that you really enjoy the time when you are up on the top of that hill, because you already know that a valley is going to come. And matter of fact, and just out to say this too, because the pastor said that this week that the valley is where you learn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you at the top of everything going great, you ain't learning nothing. You usually enjoying being up there. But when you get the valley is part of it, because you have to, when you get in the valley, that's when you start learning stuff about yourself, learning what you're really capable of, learning what you're really able to get through. So, I gotta have some. So I'm gonna ask this real quick. I know we still getting into this, but Jamon Glover, let me ask you this.
Sir.
When you talk to people and they go and they talk about the hills and the valleys, what do you say about the valley?
Man, the first thing I normally say is nothing grows in a comfort zone. If you think about it, when you go to the gym, when you practicing for something, when you even just trying to sing in a choir, you have to strain them vocal cords to see how far you can go, to play with different rhythms and flows and runs. You become great by doing the work, meaning going through the valley. The valley is where greatness happens. And a lot of times we get so bogged down thinking about the woe is me's and this didn't work out, that didn't work out. But I learned a lesson a couple of years ago now, probably about 2 years. I was having this moment of self-pity, and I like to give myself 24 hours to feel my feelings before I jump into something else. Or, I like to just feel the feelings. And I was reading something, then I was listening to a podcast the next day, and the two things combined, and I learned this. The outcome that you want, you have to discover who that person is and become that person before you're worthy of the goal, before you're worthy of the outcome. So your valley is only your proving ground to become the person that's worthy of that thing. So that's my take on the valley.
Okay, I like it, brother. I mean, hey, already
really, really, really good take, man.
Yeah, I'm already starting to getting excited. You know what I'm saying? I like it already, brother. All right, let me get into my week. This week, I don't know. I think I'm still about the same. I'm about an 8, but I'm super excited. Hey, Jamon Glover, I'm gonna show you how much I was excited about having you on today. Today is my 25th wedding anniversary. And I'm here on the show with you, sir, with you. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good, man. No, my wife is a very supportive and understanding woman. She she knew what time it was. I've put my commitment to the show in, and I don't miss episodes. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm glad it's my 25th wedding anniversary this weekend coming up. We're actually going to celebrate it. I'm going to Virginia Beach. I'm going to hang out with our boys who all have been guests on the show, except for Chout Bout. I'm going to get Chout Bout on the show, but this bunch of comedian friends that I know. L.A. Josh Preston, y'all know him from the podcast on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And, of course, our very own Althea McFarlane will be there. Performing as well out in Virginia Beach, and Chout Bout, and also Jordan B. So make sure if y'all in that area, y'all want to check these guys out, come check them out. They give a great show. And then me and my wife got a nice hotel, beachfront, even though we ain't getting in that cold water, but it has an indoor pool and a jacuzzi. So, we're going to be definitely having it and just enjoying our time and just relaxing. And, getting away from the rat race and just have some time to be together and just enjoy each other. No kids, no home. Sometimes I definitely feel that it's better to get away from the normal home environment sometimes and just enjoy each other's time. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not, unfortunately, I'm not like Coach and get to go to all these exotic places all the time. But, you know, me, I'm just going to Virginia Beach, you know. So,
Hey
but,
man, just cherish the moments, bro.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's all good times. But I'm gonna have a good time, enjoy that spending that right now. So right now, I say I'm about an 8, probably 8.5, really, because I went and saw my daughter in school. She goes to Towson University in the nursing program, and I got to see her. Had a great time visiting her and her roommate, who happens to be my other daughter, but she isn't my real, you know, my other daughter, father from another mother, whatever they say. But you know,
Yeah.
my other daughter, and got to see her and have a good time and just, you know, enjoy their company. They actually grew up together. Her roommate is my next door neighbor's daughter, so they grew up together, and now they're roommates in college, and they, you know, they're just enjoying life, and I'm enjoying it vicariously through them. So I'm excited. And this time, if y'all watching, actually say something in the comments this time, because they watched another show and wanted to comment when I get off of the air. So tell them to comment while y'all on the air. But anyway, I say I'm about an 8.5, so I'm feeling good. Life is good. I'm gonna spend this next weekend coming up, spending with my wife, and just enjoy that time. So, what about you, sir? How you feeling from 0 to 10, and what you looking forward to?
0 to 10, I would say I'm a 9.
Okay.
I'm a 9 because I have 5 children and they're amazing. They're doing great things. I have 3, now 4 grandchildren. So that's my 9 right there. My youngest granddaughter was born a week and a half ago. So I have 4 granddaughters. And so now I got a competition going to see who's gonna be the first to give me that grandson, because they're going to the top of the wheel. So now it's about to be a whole bunch of them being born. So we're gonna find out. I'm about to have 10 before the next 2 years is out, I think.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, life is good, man. I'm working. I'm on my purpose. I'm doing the things that I wanted to do years ago, but I wasn't the person that was ready for it. And so as I come into my season, there's still challenges, there's still obstacles, but I'm learning to speak those things that be not as though they were and move accordingly, because the how is not my business. That's God's business. It's just my job to take the steps.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah. I'm glad to hear that. Glad to hear that. So, just to recap, what's good, Chow Bao? See you there. See you checking in. I already mentioned that the show that you having out in Virginia Beach. So, you know, but just to go back, so we're here with Jamon Glover. He is the author of the instruction manual. He's also the founder of the Father Figure Institute, correct? Oh,
It's the owner's manual.
The who?
The owner's manual.
What did I say? I'm sorry. I've been saying instruction manual, haven't I?
Yeah.
Okay. I apologize. It's the owner's manual. All right. I'm gonna get that. All right.
You know, people always say keys don't come with an owner's manual.
Yeah. Well, I always said instruction manual. That's why I got it in my head, because I always said that way. You ain't come with an instruction manual. If you did, I'd be the perfect father. You know, so there we go. But owner's manual is the same thing. It's the same preference. So I'm good with it. But I want to start with the Father Figure Institute first before we get into the book. And I'm just curious because, you know, I started Dad Mentality podcast, and for me, I always, you know, I wanted it to be something for fathers, you know, that because the biggest thing for me is that I hated that I be around a lot of people and comedians and things like that, or just people and women in general. And the first thing they say, oh, there's no good men out here. You know what I'm saying? There's no good fathers out here. You know, my father is this, that, and the other. And the first question, and then they give me all these things, and I'm like, I know a lot of fathers, but I don't know these fathers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? These fathers that y'all are talking about, I don't know them. Like, I'm still trying to find them myself, but y'all seem to find them every day.
Every day.
So, you know, that was the reason for me, and why, you know, I wanted to show them that there was guys out here and things like that. But the Father Figure Institute, I love the name. How did it begin, and what made you start it?
Father Figure Institute was a labor of love for me. And I won't say I accidentally stumbled upon it. As I read in the first paragraph of that book, my birth was not really celebrated. My father didn't believe I was his child. And it was a rumor that was started by some other family members who didn't want my mother and father together. And it took my father a couple years, when I say a couple, like more of a decade, before he really started to embrace me as his son. Now, granted, he never left the house. Went to church every Sunday. We was at family functions, but in the house, there was not a lot of love. There was not a lot of connection between me and him. And so I always said I wanted to be a better father. I wanted to have a better relationship with my children. And then I had my first couple of children. And then I went to pick up my 4-year-old son from the neighbor's house one day. And as I opened the door, he sees me come in and his head drops immediately. And as a busy father who does this all the time, I'm thinking he's not ready to stop playing. He wants to keep playing. And so I go to pick him up and he falls out on the floor crying. I said, bro, you can come back. You can come back and play later. We got to go. I got to start dinner. This joker screams out, I don't want you to be my daddy. I want him. He pointed at the neighbor. And so after I dropped him, actually, no, I didn't drop him. I wanted to drop him. And so I'm sitting there thinking, this man ain't changed not one pamper. He ain't wiped your snotty nose. He ain't put no food on your table. He ain't been there in the middle of the night when you was sick. He didn't run back and forth in the hospital when you was in the NICU or when you was doing all these, he was this guy. What is this guy doing that you want him to be your dad? And I gave the guy, I mean mugged him. I kind of walked toward him a little bit. He was like, hey man, I don't know. I don't know where he got that from. I ain't did none of your son, man. And I'm just like, all right. So I took him home and I'm fuming. I'm in the house just back and forth trying to start dinner, but I'm mad. And then this calm came over me and I realized this kid is 4. This wasn't no mastermind scheme designed to hurt my feelings. He was just telling me his authentic experience. And so I said, okay, what is he seeing in this other environment? So I started watching. I watched how the neighbor treated his kid, how he had 2 daughters. I was watching how he responded to the daughters, how he acted with them, how he loved on them and hugged on them. And I realized, man, I didn't get that. I don't know how to be that. I just know how to work and I know how to make sure they're safe, but I don't know how to connect with them. And so I started watching everywhere I went. I watched this father and that father and this father and that father. And then I thought about all the coaches that I had in my life that tried to help father me, who saw me going down the bad path and was like, no, bro, you ain't supposed to be over there. You're supposed to be over here. And years later, Father Figure Institute was born simply because you don't know what you don't know, but the community of fathers, that's where your strength is. Iron always sharpens iron. It'll break everything else. And so being around other good fathers who have various different experiences makes all of us better. So Father Figure Institute is not me preaching or teaching or making fathers better. It's a community of fathers that's has pretty much the same goal. It's a safe place to vent, a safe place to feel appreciated, but also a refueling station to go back with some tools, with some tips to be better fathers, whether it's to your own children or to the children that you have access to. Sorry for the long answer.
Okay.
No,
I love
we
it. Go ahead, Coach.
want that.
Look like you got something to
Nah,
say.
definitely good stuff. I mean, it's a good thing to recognize that while you were speaking. I was just thinking about just like my relationship with my daughters and kind of seeing like, hey, how can I be better? You know what I'm saying? Or more present, right? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They understand how I treat my wife. They understand how um you know what I'm saying, what they see visually of a dad, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying, I could be definitely more present in their little nuances or things that they like and spend more time in that place. It's funny because just yesterday I was building a weight rack in my garage and I literally just brought him outside and told him come outside and help me build it, right? Just because
Yeah.
you girls don't mean you can't learn this. And
That's
it's
it.
amazing. It's amazing just them learning what a bolt is, what a washer is, what a lug nut is and stuff like that. How excited they were out there, you know what I'm saying, just helping, right? You know
Yep.
what I mean? Which that's something that normally I would just go out and do myself, right? Hey, they're girls, but they're outdoor girls, which is good. But nah, it definitely put things in perspective right there when you were speaking.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the first thing I know is that my son told me some other dude or whatever. It's gonna be some smoke in that house that night. I'm gonna let you know that right now. I'm gonna sit there. I'll be like, yeah. I'm gonna sit there, and make me a plate, and look at he be like, where my food at? I'm like, oh no, go talk to your wannabe daddy over there. You
Go
know
ask your
what
daddy
I'm
over there.
saying? Yeah, go ask him what's going on. But nah, I mean that's what I say. I say in my head, but of course I wouldn't have
Yeah.
done none of that. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I mean, that definitely would have hurt my ego. And I mean, but I mean, hey, sometimes you need that conversation piece. You need that to happen to actually wake you up, because you go through life and you just get in a routine where you kind of stop noticing little things. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like you walk through the door every day, you don't notice that spot that ain't been clean because you walk through it every day. Eventually, you stop seeing it. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? And I think I guess that's kind of the moment where it kind of wakes you up out of that fog of day to day and be like, hold on, maybe I need to start looking around a little deeper,
Yeah.
and see what's going on. So, okay, the Father Figure Institute.com. That is the place where people can go there and look at the stuff that you have going on. And you also do events and things like that on that as well?
Yeah, this year is the first year, so we are in the beginning stages of building the community, because I've done so much work outside just in the communities that I live in, that now I'm going online and I'm doing it a little bit more to my personal liking, because I told you I'm certified in 3 different programs.
Okay.
And each program, they're really good programs, but they're all missing one component. Once you get out of the program, what's after that? You need reps. That's why teams don't just practice in the off season, and then when the season starts, they just show up for every game. No, you need continuous reps. And so what we're trying to build now is the community, to whether you're in a program, whether you are dealing with a specific issue, the community is going to be is set up to facilitate whatever those needs are. And so there's going to be some free things there. There's going to be some paid, like mastermind kind of things, guys who are at that level where they're working 80, 90 hours a week and they don't really have a lot of time. So how do I maximize my time to still be there for my children? Then you have the guys who they work remotely, so they're there all the time. So every father doesn't have the same need. And so the community is set up to facilitate all those pieces. So there's 3 levels. The first level is really the basic level. That's just basic fatherhood, parenting skills. The second level is when you get to the space where you are trying to figure out how to co-parent effectively. And that third space is when you have older children and you may not have implemented certain things younger. And so it's kind of more of a corrective thing. How do I now go back? My son is 18 and he's kind of wilding. So what can I do as a father to get him on a better path? So those are the 3 levels that we're trying to work with right now. Right now, we're just on the first level, which is the basic parenting. And we're in the beginning of next year, we're going to open up the second level, which is the how to co-parent effectively.
Okay. And the Father Figure Institute is not just for men. Is it also a space where women can get information as well, or is it just for men?
Father Figure Institute is just for men. It's just for fathers. Because when I polled a lot of guys and they was like, bro, we need a space where we can actually, have like real conversations. And the way guys talk and the way ladies receive, sometimes they don't jive. Y'all married, y'all know that.
25 years. 25 years, and I can tell you right now, I realized that my wife has not listened to a word I said yet. So it's all good, but I'm listening. Go ahead.
No comment.
She saw your
No
mouth
comment.
moving, but she interpreted it in a way that was more palatable for her.
Yeah. And we have gotten in, and I mean it's true, me and but I've gotten to the point where I ask her, I said what I said, but what did you hear?
What did you
know
hear?
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because because a lot of times it's never what I said, know, especially if there's a no in it. I've learned because my wife is very much a father's girl.
Oh yeah.
And it took a long time for me to realize that, I always felt like I had to battle against him. But in reality, I just realized that it don't matter. He gonna do it if I don't do it, no matter what. So it ain't no battle. I already lost, But I love him for that, But it is something that you have to, you have to deal with and understand how to get through and circle around. Sometimes you got to kill. You have to, let it go, basically. Like dad's gonna buy it, so forget it. Why even get upset? It ain't even worth it. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good. But on Facebook, I'm starting a channel called Father Figure Army, and so that is open to pretty much anyone who wants to be a part of it, male, female. Because I'm going to do a lot more co-parenting things on Facebook, just because the need in the communities, most people struggle with the co-parenting piece because you come from different spaces. A lot of ladies don't trust their child's father early on because, especially the first one, because guys, we're not the most gentle. And you got this newborn baby, and she's like, "All right, be careful, be careful, be careful." Be like, babe, go take a nap. Because my son, my fourth granddaughter, she's born, and when I tell you, his son's mom, her son's mom, she'll let him hold him, but then the first couple of days she just kind of sat there and just watched and just watched and just watched. He's like, "I got it, go lay down." And she's like, "Okay," but then she won't move because she's still looking like, "Oh, you sure you got her? You sure you got her?" So
that's how it works.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do more co-parenting stuff in the Facebook space.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean I like the layout of it. You know what I mean? I think trying to capture all levels. I mean, because they're all different actions, right? Especially when you start dealing with grown men. You know what I mean? Or kid or boys that think they're grown. Let me use that.
Think they're grown. 14 and
you know what I mean? Yeah, boys that think they're grown. I mean, it's just a different approach. You know what I mean? I was at the level coaching that age group, and all of them are different. They're different personalities. They're going from boys to young men, and you can see the ones that are mature. You can see the ones that are going to venture off, and you actually can see the ones that have father figures. You can see it. You know what I'm saying? Just, being able to kind of navigate all of those different things and still pour into them. You know what I mean? It has to be natural and it has to be genuine, right? You know what I mean? At that age. Because if it's not, they will pick up on it, and they will pick up on it very, very quickly.
Yeah, they smell the fake.
They do. So
absolutely. So I've openly talked about this many times on here. And my father passed away when I was 11. And just to show you how how in my eyes I was spoiled. I didn't even know, I didn't consider my father like this big important thing until, of course, once he was gone. To me, he was a glorified chauffeur because I was definitely a mommy's boy. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, now, of course, when I became an adult, I realized how great of a father my father really was. You know what I'm saying? Because he was there to take me to those events, to take me to the soccer games, to take me to the stuff that I was there. And at that age, I just thought he was normal. He was like, he's just a normal person that takes me where he's supposed to go.
Yeah.
But you really realize once you get old, once you get older, that just like your son saying, "Oh, I want that, Dad," how much your father really has done for you. And it kind of, the wool comes off comes from over your eyes, and you start really seeing the larger picture of everything.
Yeah.
So
I think I was 30.
30?
I think I was 30 before I realized that my dad, he did the best he knew how to do.
Yes.
He matured because I was the 8th of my dad's 11 children. Yeah,
Okay.
the 8th of my dad's 11 children. I have 2 younger siblings. And so my dad stayed. When my mom got married, he never left until I think they divorced when I was probably 20, 22, something like that. And I was another 8 years after that, I finally realized that both of my parents did the absolute best they knew how to do. They furthered their DNA, their legacy. Their parents got them to a place. They got me and my siblings to a place. And now I'm able to give my children a head start. So it's like they did their job. They passed the baton. But when I was younger, all I knew was what I wasn't getting. But when I would be in places that I had no business being, guys would be like, "Hey, yo, Jamon, what are you doing here? You ain't supposed to be in here. Bro, you need to leave." I'm like, "Bro, I'm grown." Like, "Yeah, bro, but this ain't your scene, bro." And this is like, I'm in a trap right now, right? And they telling me you're supposed to be here. I said, "Bro, I got money. You want it?" They're like, "All right, but hey, this ain't the life for you, bro." And I found out real fast that this not the life I want to live. Yeah. But my dad, he did his part.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and my dad did do that part as well. You know, even though he was here for me on that short term, you know, of me being 11, but he still did his part. I'm still, you know, I bought my family house. I still living in the house that my dad, you know, that my dad bought. And my kids are growing up in that house and making new memories and making new families and making new things. You know, it really is something that became important to me to one, you know, not let the house go, and then to raise my kids in the same environment. And plus, it's a great house, so you know, that's the bonus as well. So, but like you said, it's just about really figuring out. And a great thing that you said that I also realized was that a lot of people don't take accountability that what your parents gave you could be just the best that they could give you. You know what I'm saying? It's not always what we imagine, because you see other parents, or you equivalate them to, you know, the Huxtables or something like that. Why I didn't grow up like that? Why you know, this ain't happening? You see how much this is, but then, you know, your home is different and everybody's different. But you got to understand that maybe they came from something where there was a lot of abuse in their household, where, you know, one thing we talk about on here is how some people make things normalized. So, like, you know, in some household, a man calling his wife a bitch is normal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just Tuesday. He says that about everything. When she cooks the chicken, it is bitch made the chicken, whatever the case may be. But and then that person grows up and he thinks that this is the way that you're supposed to talk.
Everybody do that.
Know? Yeah. So, I mean, it's just about knowing, you know, it's just about also learning, you know, and having those conversations with your parents or your dad to figure out, you know, what maybe they just didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe they just didn't know that, hey, I messed up. I need some therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this is the road I'm going through. I'm acting out because of this. And the only way they knew how to handle it was to grab the belt. You know what I'm saying? Instead of talking to me and having the actual conversation, the only way they grew up was the response was just the belt. And they didn't even know that there was another way of handling things.
Yeah, I had that conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about, you know, because laws have changed, so parents are not spanking their kids in mass as we did, you know, when we were growing up. And the conversation kind of turned into, back then, you talking about in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, parents were beating their kids, one, because it was kind of a programmed thing, but it was also for survival. If I don't get this kid to listen to me in the most expedient way, he might be swinging from a tree later. If I don't get this kid to be in line, he might say something to the wrong person, and it could cost him his life. So, and not to mention, we're already in survival mode, just trying to really, literally, some of us are sharecroppers. We just trying to make the ends meet. And education really wasn't that important. So the ones that could read didn't have a lot of time to do it, and a lot of them couldn't read. So it was like the times were different, and yeah, that's just it's amazing how we do that.
Absolutely. How you doing, Louisa? Good to see you. Louisa is one of our followers that always gives us great comments. She said 100% true. Majority of our parents gave us what they knew. They were learning how to parent, how to be an adult, how to manage a household, how to juggle a home and work. So, so she definitely agrees with what's being said here. And I mean, it is something that you just have to realize as a parent is you give your kid everything you can and give them the best that you can be, but you're not going to be able to do everything. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to be able. And sometimes we even talk about this. Sometimes you got to just be there and let them fall. You know what I'm saying? But you're there to help them up, but you just got to let them fall. Like, and you got to, every child is different. Like I talk about how my oldest son, he needed a spank. Okay. But my daughter, if I spanked her, then she would absolutely do the opposite of what I told her to do. Physical, physical was not the thing for her. You know what I'm saying? And you have to treat each kid differently. And and how you treat them, is you can't go in there and not equivalent to the coach that thinks he has the perfect playbook. You know what I'm saying? And doesn't tune his playbook to his players. He's like, nah, y'all learn these plays and we just gonna run these plays and keep on running these plays. But if you ain't got the right players for that play, then it don't matter how many times you run it, it ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? So I always tell people you got to design your playbook for your kid. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit there and expect every kid to respond the same way to everything. So, what about you, Coach? What you think about that?
No, I mean, I think like you guys were saying, going back to just normalizing everything, and I definitely believe, you know what I'm saying, that our parents did the best that they could, right? I think that they kind of poured into us a little bit differently. I think the model was different. I think society was different. You know what I mean? Male and female roles were different with our parents, right? You know what I mean? And now we're raising in an environment where there's a lot of opportunity for everyone. You know what I mean? I think society has kind of changed what parents look like with that role. You know what I mean? For both male and female. And I think that, you know what I'm saying, our kids, it's going to look completely different for our kids too. Right? I think we're one of the last groups that are kind of holding on to the older perspective, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas the next generation doesn't even, I don't even know if they have that perspective anymore, right? Or that goal.
It's dying.
It's dying, right? And pretty soon it's gonna be the minority of the parenting is gonna just look completely different. You know what I mean? Parents, everybody talks about parents getting younger and all that, and grandmas getting younger and yeah, whatever. You know what I'm saying? There were young grandmas back when we were growing up too. We just had the older ones. That's all that was. You know what I mean? Yeah, and so it's so I think definitely the environment's changing, but it still doesn't mean that we have to kind of lose the values that were instilled in us. We can still instill those same values in our kids, right? So that way they have a baseline of how to act, what to do, with what, you know what I mean, and so forth. So that's what I think.
One of my favorite lines in the book is actually, you don't have to be a perfect parent. You just need to be a present one.
Mm-hmm.
just
Agreed.
present, you know,
Absolutely.
because like I said earlier, my dad, I watched my dad mature over a few my different set of years. He was hardcore on this, but then over time, I started noticing him get a little more lenient, loosening the reins a little bit, and then how he just moved with my mom and how he moved in the street. I'm just like, man, Pop's changing.
Yep.
But it was he was
we're not going
maturing.
to get into how these grandparents treat these children compared to how we would try. I'm not even going to go down that road.
Depends on the grandparents. Some
Depends on the
grandparents,
okay.
Yeah.
yeah, like don't get it twisted. Like some of the grandparents are different nowadays too. Like a lot of grandparents back when we were growing up wanted to be involved with their grandkids.
Yeah.
So some of these grandparents still in the streets.
They still in them streets hard.
You know, like I'm just gonna be real with you, and
Yeah.
that in and of itself is the change that I was talking about, right? Like, you never would have caught my grandmother in the street, you know what I mean, or running to and from and all of that stuff, you know what I mean. But it's just, you know what I mean, because and that in and of itself, think about our upbringing. Our grandparents had a lot to do with our raising too.
Yeah.
Like it was the village was different.
Yep. Grandma wearing booty shorts right now.
There you
Grandma
go.
in the clubs with the grandma and the
with
daughter
their
going
mama.
out together. Yeah,
With
they
the-
out
in the
together
club with
in
the
the
mama.
same club,
Same
fighting over the
club.
same man.
Fighting over the same dude. Yep.
Yeah, fighting over the same man.
Yep.
But you know, Louisa said real quick, I was like that. If my parents had taken the time to talk to me, I would have gotten it. I wouldn't have gotten it. Hold on, let me make sure I'm reading this correctly. Let me read on this side. Wouldn't have gotten it. Now I lost. There we go. I used to get tore up to the point that it would have my nosebleed, busted lips, and horrible bruises. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Louisa. Chow says these grandmas not even giving up gummies yet. All the Maybells gone, baby. So he's saying all the old women are gone.
All the
They
Mabel's
not even
gone.
giving up they're not even giving up the gummies. I don't know that melatonin. They give them a melatonin.
They give him
gummy,
melatonin though.
yeah, for sure. Now to go back to your book, The Owner's Manual, which I'm excited that you've have brought that out. I wish it was there when I was still raising young ones. I do have one, my 11-year-old, but now I consider I'll probably I can write my own owner's manual now at this point, but I definitely needed it when I first began.
Yeah.
And it's definitely something that I'm glad that somebody came out with. I'm definitely going to read it and read all the part series and have it in my collection, because now I'm getting to the point where I may be having knock on wood, maybe, or don't knock on wood, I don't know, have grandchildren eventually. But it's definitely something that anything positive in thing, I'm definitely, especially towards our fathers and our men, I am definitely want to endorse it and definitely have people talk about it. So now what made you decide to start the owner's manual and start that, as because I mean, it's a pretty, and I'm gonna be honest with you, just look outside looking in, I always said we want it, but it's got to be a pretty strong opinionated guy to actually write it and put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Because in my opinion, just give my you're setting yourself up for scrutiny.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because you always going to have the haters or the naysayers or whatever the case may be. And then Lord, if something happens and somebody's going to be like, oh, this, all this, it's always the haters. How about that? I'll just leave it at that. And what made you start to want to write the book? And then we'll get into the other questions after that. So what was that? What happened there that made the book happen?
I think the biggest thing that really made the book become a reality was when I had my first 3 children. They're all about 2 to It's my first two. They're like right at 9 months apart, and then from the second one, he's 2 years behind the second one, and then
Okay.
there's a 6 year gap in between the third and the fourth, and a 5 year gap in between the fourth and the fifth. And so I think I'm out of the toddler phase, and then I'm thrown right back into
Right back
it.
in.
Right back into it. You're repeating the
so
cycle.
exactly. So I had kids at every stage, and I realized I'm not the same parent I started out being.
Agreed.
From
Absolutely.
0 to 7, that's a whole different skill set of parenting. From 7 to 14, that's a totally different thing. From
Yes.
14 to 21, and then from 21 to 28, I call it my theories of sevens. And so the first one is the protector, 0 to 7. When babies are born, they only know a couple things. They don't like loud noises. They know when they're hungry and they don't want to fall. They know they don't like being wet. So, but outside of that, hard drives are blank. They learn everything in their brain from 0 to 5, 0 to 2. The brain, appreciate you. The brain is forming billions of neural pathways, and they're learning at rapid speeds. That's why they say when children are young, it's good for them to learn other languages. It's good for them to learn to start playing instruments, because the brain is growing so fast. It's really a cheat code. You can put anything in front of them, and if you have the patience, they'll pick it up just like that, and they'll just go with it. But now they got to start testing these things out. They've been watching for 2 years, like, oh, okay, I see that. I want to do that. Now they touching hot stoves and light sockets and all these other things because they want to test the theory. Can you imagine? Everything is new. Everything is new. You've never done any of these. You never had a soda. You've never had a slice of pizza. I mean, everything is a new feeling, a new taste, a new sensation. And so the brain is just growing. And when I learned this, it blew my mind. The reason why some people can't get right, and the reason why some people can't shut it down, is because as you're growing, your brain, is going, these neural pathways are being formed. But then at a certain point, somewhere around through 5, 6, 7, the brain goes in and starts pruning off those things that aren't being used or not nurtured. Like if you're not getting love, you're not getting hugged on, if you're not being affirmed, if you're not being loved and valued, your brain prunes that off, those neural pathways. So now it's hard to be loved. It's hard to feel appreciated because you literally don't have the brain capacity because it's been pruned off. But if you used to sirens going off and dogs barking and gunshots, normalization, right? That's the normal thing. Your brain produces more of that. And so 0 to 7 for me is the protector phase, because that's the age when you want to protect their growth and their development, because this is where they form their attachment styles.
Right.
Y'all familiar with the attachment styles? Okay.
Yeah.
And so
go ahead and explain it to us though, for the people that are not.
Okay. So the attachment styles, typically there are 3, but there's a 4th one too. So the first one, we call it the secure attachment style, which is a self-explanatory. That means you can take a 3-year-old child, you can take him into class that he's never been in before, and he'll look around, the parent will leave, he won't cry, he'll go, he'll observe, he'll instantly go and make friends. Then you got the anxious attachment style. This child will be the one who goes in and they would cry when the parent leaves, and then they'd be glued to the teacher for the rest of the day. Then you have the avoidant attachment style. The avoidant one is the kid that goes straight to the corner and just stands there by himself all day because he's avoiding. Then you have, of course, the fearful. Yes, sir.
That's me.
No, he was
You
saying
the avoidant one?
just
You just happy in your own little space. I ain't making no waves. Y'all leave me alone. Call me if you need me, but I'll be over here. That's you, coach. Yeah, me too.
In a new environment. Now,
Yep.
once I warm up,
Yeah.
I'll be good. But
Oh
in
yeah.
a new environment, and somebody, it's funny because I was just in Nashville, Tennessee. You know what I mean? And if you've been in Nashville, Nashville's a complete show. It's
Yeah.
just a souped up New Orleans,
Yeah.
or it's a Tennessee style New Orleans. Only
Yes.
difference is they got cowboy boots on,
Exactly.
and just you know what I'm saying, out there hanging out with a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying, getting ready to go to the game
Did
on
we
Sunday.
lose
We
the
went out
camera?
a couple nights, lost his camera. Went out a
Hmm.
couple nights and
I'm still here.
okay,
Yeah.
went out a couple nights and you know what I mean, literally went from bar to bar and literally sat in the back corner. You know what I mean, and just watch
Yeah.
what was going on. Like there was nothing that was going to draw us out. There was nothing that was going to do anything of that nature. You know what I'm saying? And there really wasn't going to be much socializing. But it described exactly what you just said.
Yeah, Louisa chimed in. She said, as you're growing, if your parents don't cultivate you, a part of you, the inner child, it is stuck at the age of development. Age means nothing in the inner and wasn't able to grow with the outer. And I definitely agree with what she's saying as far as that, because like I said, I always talk about, I've done a lot of therapy there, Jamon Glover.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of therapy. So, in my therapy, I learned that, when one thing I suffer from is abandonment issues. And when my wife leaves, I turn back into that 11-year-old. I turn back into that 11-year-old that what you call it, and throughout the time I've now I've gotten a lot better, but I still even though I know in therapy when my wife leaves for more than a day, I still want to go back to the old coping mechanism. You know what I'm saying? That's when I gave up alcohol. I still drink, but I don't I used to drink every day. You know what I'm saying? Every day. Like now I haven't bought a bottle of liquor in my house for a party. That was it. But other than that, this, that, and the other. So my drinking has been definitely down. But I mean, I don't crave it. I'm not fighting against the liquor store, every day or whatever the case may be. I'm not doing that at all. But as soon as my wife left, I could not stop thinking about liquor. You know what I'm saying? I could not stop thinking about it. All I kept on was, I can go have one drink, just one. You know what I'm saying? But I just said to myself, this is the last time she just left, because the time before that was actually the time when I decided to stop drinking completely. Like I had already started trying not to, but I took my wife to the airport, went over my boy's house, and drunk until I got passed out. You know what I'm saying? I went over there knowing he had plenty of liquor because I ain't had none in my house. And when I went over there, I got so drunk that I couldn't even remember. I couldn't remember how I got home. And B, I threw up everywhere where I had to clean it all up, and then took off my shirt and took one of his. You know what I'm saying? And didn't remember none of it. So, and that was my final journal. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this no more. Like I can't. Like this is not where I want to be. So, it definitely isn't anything. And don't get me wrong, Chow, about when we come down to Virginia Beach, me and my wife, we hanging out, we drinking. So don't get me wrong, we having a good time, but I'm drinking with her, not by myself. So I'll be fine. I don't want you to be concerned over there, Chow, about, you know what I'm saying? But it's just something that I took to, what you call it, that a lot of trauma that people have at young ages, they think that it's over, but it's not. It's really deep and really buried inside of them. And even me, I can honestly say, even me, I thought I was good. Like I do all this therapy. You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as she left, I could not stop thinking about alcohol. I couldn't do. I was just like, yo, and I even told my wife, like, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink no matter what. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of myself. I finally did. I did it, and I made it. And it's one step closer. So,
Yeah.
but a lot of people don't know. So what do you say to a person that has childhood trauma, and or here's a better question: what do you think about parents who take the childhood trauma and put it on their children? How have you run into that as a huge issue, or is that something that you see out here all the time? Is that something that maybe you have dealt with? Is that something that is a common denominator amongst a lot of us? What do you think about that?
It's a very common denominator. Most of us, I mean, children live what they learn what they live. We can tell our children that don't be like this, don't do this, don't do that. But if, like with my dad worked 2 jobs. My dad was a disciplinarian in the household. And so I knew I wanted to be a better father. But guess what I ended up doing? Working 2 jobs, being a disciplinarian in the household. And so that's a common thing. You can only give what you got. And if it wasn't programmed into you, if it wasn't indoctrinated, doing that wiring of your brain, you have to go get it. And most of the time, especially guys, when I just started a class back in August, and I talked to like 50 guys, and 90% of them would say something like, "Oh, nah, man, I'm a good dad, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I went through this and my dad wasn't there, but you know what I'm saying? I turned out all right." And I had to be like, but did you? I mean, really, did you turn out okay? Are you the man that you want to be? Do you have the tools that you need to help your children have better outcomes than you? Or are you okay with your children making your same mistakes? And they'll be like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I figured it out. I said, but it's our job as parents to not let our children figure it out. It's to assist them as they figure it out. We were never supposed to do it on our own. We're supposed to give our children a leg up. We're supposed to further the generations. And so, yeah, it is definitely it's across the board. Now, the people because opposites attract, right? And so somebody with a anxious attachment style might mess around and find somebody with a secure style, or they more than likely will find somebody with a fearful or avoidant style, And so that's why relationships, there are those struggles in there. But as you get older and you become more self-aware, and you realize after the 3rd relationship, these last 3 relationships have ended because I done this. Like I was the runner, I was the track star. Stuff get hard, man. I'm packing a bag. I'm about to get up out of here. I'm gonna holler at you later. 6 months. I was a 6-month relationship king. I give you a strong 6 months. I'm gonna find a reason to leave. That was my thing. And then I realized it. And the first time I made it past 6 months, it was almost like a celebration, because I'm like, yo, I'm breaking the pattern. I'm breaking the pattern. But the first thing is you gotta be aware of the patterns. You gotta see where the errors are, and then you gotta make a conscious decision if you want to keep repeating that same pattern or you want to do something different. So that was my story. And so I've parlayed, that 6-month king into a 20-year marriage. So it's oh man, it was been some work.
Every marriage is work, brother. It's definitely work. It ain't,
Yep. And honestly, I mean, I'm in a stage of self-reflection right now. You know what I mean? I'm in a stage of, what I'm saying? I'm at a crossroads, and what I'm saying? I'm 47. I'm in a crossroads right now. So it's kind of like truly understanding who I am. Because a lot of those parent things, and it took me 47 years to identify them. You know what I mean? And of course, therapy and all that stuff is helping. But you know what I'm saying? You gotta get to that point where it's like, all right, I gotta change something. Right.
Yeah.
And no matter, what I'm saying, I gotta change something, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like you said, you know what I'm saying, some people are runners, some people are loyal to a fault.
Oh yeah.
Whether and that's me. Like
Yeah.
I'm loyal to a fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In my relationships. And that's not necessarily always good if you know what I'm saying. I'm doing things outside of character, right? If I'm doing things within character, being loyal to a fault is
Yeah,
a good thing, right? But if you're doing
yeah,
things outside of character, it gets a little bit tougher. So,
yeah,
yeah, man, like the self reflection, and that's hard work, believe it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Self reflection is hard work, and changing yourself is really hard work.
yeah. That's
You know
the
what I mean?
hardest. I think all of our purposes, we all have the same purpose, and that's self-discovery.
Mm.
Self-discovery is the purpose. And so no matter if you're 20 or you're 60, that journey never gets old, because every few years we get new likes, we have new awakenings, we have new thought patterns, we get around different circles, and we grow. And so part of our mission, our purpose, is to figure out who we are on this ride so we can maximize it. But most of us, we get stuck, and we don't want to do the hard work. We run from accountability. Shout out to all the black men on this pod that go to therapy.
Hmm.
Oh, definitely.
This, hey man, I know a
Oh, we
lot of
preach
brothers
therapy
running.
on here. We preach therapy on here, brother. I
Yeah,
promise you.
I know a
Yeah,
lot
let's
of
go.
brothers that's running right now.
Hey, man. Hey, so Louisa has a question for you.
All
She
right.
said, "Oh wow, do you figure out? Sushi man, did you figure out why 6 months was the breakup point?"
Yeah, actually, for me, it was you can only pretend your representative only has about 4 months in it
Wow.
before you get comfortable, right?
Mhm.
And so around that 4th month, you start noticing the red flags, because now the new relationship energy has kind of died down a little bit, and y'all kind of have a regular routine. And so now you start noticing a few more things, like you put your hand in the couch cushions and you pull out old baloney, and it's like, ew.
Yeah.
Okay, this person may not be as clean as I thought they was. Okay. You start noticing these things. And because I grew up feeling not wanted and not loved, I felt two ways. Either I have to perform to have value for somebody to want me, or somebody was there just to use me. And so when I hit that 6 month mark, it was around that time that I was either tired of performing, or I felt like I was being used. And so those
Yeah,
were my two reasons to escape.
I can feel you on the perform thing. That is something that I have literally talked about, you know what I'm saying, over the past couple of weeks with people, and that is a childhood thing.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I am just now, like I said, realizing that. Like that's a childhood thing. I have to perform to be appreciated.
Yep.
I have to perform to um kind of be accepted.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
Yep.
that's deeply, deeply rooted in your childhood. And that's a hard thing to overcome.
It is.
You know what I
Bruh,
mean?
coach.
Especially when you have because like my father showed up to everything, and that was his
Mm,
perform. That was his perform. So I got a father that shows up all the time, and then my childhood is ingrained, and I got to perform that I'm appreciated. Right?
hmm.
That's a dangerous combination
It
because
is.
it could be a detriment because
Yeah.
you could be showing up for people and performing for people that you don't need to perform for. You know what I mean? And you could be overperforming.
Overperforming. Yep.
You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
somebody that you don't need to overperform for.
Yeah. I found myself when I was younger, I was singing in the choir, and my dad would talk to me more if I sung good on Sunday morning. He would he would say, "Hey son, you did real good up there, man. You made the old man proud." I'm just like, "Oh man, that made you proud." So now I'm singing and I'm trying to usher, because he was an usher. So I'm trying to usher like he was doing. And
Uh-huh.
then then I started trying to play sports, but I sucked at it at first. And
Okay.
so I'm like, I got to get better at sports. And so I created this hit list. So every guy, because I was always the one that was picked last on all the sport, neighborhood sports, basketball,
He was
sandlot
definitely the
football.
bad one. He was definitely
Yeah,
the
nobody
bad
wants to
one,
be the
right?
last one. And so, man, I was doing probably 25 push-ups every commercial. I was running the block. I mean, I was working out every day, all day, until I went from the last pick to the only freshman making the varsity squad, starting as a middle linebacker my sophomore year, captain of the wrestling team, captain of the football team. My dad was out there with my dad wasn't coming to my game because I sucked early, but he went to work and look, he went to work and his friends came in and said, Glover, man, your son was knocking dust out there. Where was you at?
Yeah.
Well, my dad showed with a camcorder the next week and never stopped coming.
Yep.
So it was like I was performing for that. And then to your point, this is my senior year of high school. I was a leader in the junior ROTC program. I was the president of the Students Against Violence Club, captain of the football team, captain of the wrestling team. I sold crack on Saturday nights. I was in church singing in the choir on Sunday morning, and I worked at the Henderson Country Club during the week as my part-time job because I'm trying to perform everywhere to please everybody because I wanted to feel valued.
That is crazy because that's definitely a critical lesson that I'm learning now, right? You know what I mean? And now I perform for people. And perform for the people that I love, but I don't perform for anybody else. It's crazy.
Yeah,
like I don't have that same drive, and so that's what kind of tells you that it's like a family thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a family thing. I won't drive. I won't just kill myself for somebody outside of somebody I don't love.
Yeah.
Right now, anybody that I truly love, I will.
Yep. Yeah.
You know
Every
what I
day of the
mean?
week, twice on Sunday.
And that's not always a great thing.
Nope. Nope. Got to put your mask on first, man. That's what I'm learning.
Yep, I agree. I'm slowly. That joint is a snail crawl, but I'm slowly learning that.
That's great. So now I got one more question. We're gonna get ready to get into the reels, and I definitely appreciate you coming in. So I do got one more question. If the Jamon Glover that is here right now could go back and talk to the Jamon Glover the first week of having his first child, what would he tell him?
Oh man, the first week of having the first child, I would say be present and don't be cruel. Be present and don't be cruel. Because sometimes when you take on the persona of the disciplinarian, there's a little level of cruelty that creeps in if you were not properly loved and nurtured.
Yeah.
You will see it as a duty and a responsibility. If you don't fear God, you will fear me before you learn to fear God. When the whole time you should have been building connection instead of building fear. That's what I would tell myself. If I can go back and do it.
Excellent. I appreciate that, sir. And I'm gonna let you know, I really feel like we didn't tap enough into a lot of the things. So I definitely want to have you come back on the show. We can get definitely more into the book and things like that. I think it was definitely still a great conversation, one that, needed to be had. And if y'all are looking for Jamon Glover, you can catch him on Facebook and tell him where anybody who wants to follow you or see you. I do have it down there at the bottom of where they can get I got instruction manual, but it's actually called the owner's manual. Yep. And to check you out, where can they follow you? What event do you have any events coming up soon?
So
let us know.
You can find me pretty much anywhere at Jamon Glover or Jamon Glover Speaks in social media platforms. Also, Father Figure Institute on IG and YouTube. Pretty much Father Figure Institute or Jamon Glover. You can find me on all the platforms. The book, however, you can find it at Father Figure Institute, but I have a book page. It's called the Owner's Manual Series book.com. If you go to the Owner's Manual Series book.com, there's some additional bonus material you can get for free that'll kind of give you help with certain, I forget exactly what is in there now, but it's free resources in there that will kind of, they're additions to the book. And so the book basically itself is just a guide, and it's not a step-by-step how do you do things. It's the perspective that you need, some of the things you need to put in place, like a family SOP, like ages and stages, knowing what your child should be doing, because ladies have for moms what to expect when you're expecting, but as fellas, we just have whatever mom says or whatever our mama or grandmama, whoever tell us. But this book has all the resources. It helps you with postpartum depression. If your girl, how to recognize if your wife or your girl has postpartum depression, because that's not a good time.
It's a thing.
It's a thing.
Yeah.
And so all those things, man.
Definitely wish somebody had told me about that.
Yeah,
Talk to me about that. Yeah,
I went
100%.
through it too, man. And shoot, my wife told me I don't want to be a mother or wife. I might not even want to be here. I'm just like, wait a minute, wait, we just had a baby.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So it is a very real thing. So this book, like I said, it is not designed to read page to page. You can go through the table of contents and you can find whatever it is you're looking for. The attachment styles are in there, connection, what true connection looks like. I mean, it's just chock full of resources, and it's an easy read. So the Owner's Manual Series.com, Father Figure Institute, or Jamon Glover.
Excellent. Y'all make sure y'all reach out. Please follow him. Please check it out. We're gonna get ready to get into our reels, and then we get into this terrible football picks. Louisa, just so you know, your picks last week were terrible as well. So you know, Althea's out there. Shout out to Althea as well, who never makes good picks. And yeah, you lost your picks too, Althea. Althea was on last week with the legacy episode. So let's get ready to watch a few reels and then talk about them. Let's get it up on a Tuesday. Go.
Views don't pay the bills,
Okay,
but this does.
supposed to
If
happen.
someone comments on a post or a high school story,
Went to a
ManyChat
commercial.
jumps in
Excellent. Skip that.
Well, welcome to the Tony Robbins podcast, Tony Robbins.
Anyone can
And
be
there
a
we go.
parent.
Here we
Anyone
go.
can have a child. But I think there's a difference between being a father and even being a dad. To me, in my world, a dad is a really beautiful and fun experience. You know, a dad you can be the friend to your kids, but I think a father is someone who loves their child so much that you're willing to risk losing their love in the short term in order to serve them. And so I look at father to me as a position of love and strength, like absolute unconditional love beyond imagination, so that they know that no matter what happens in their life, you're always in their corner. But a strength to call to the higher part of any stage of a child's life, even I'm discovering now, even at the toddler stage, you know, so that their life actually manifests into something that they're proud of and magnificent. I think a father is someone who's acutely aware of that each child has different gifts, and each child needs a different kind of support, and each child needs a different kind of challenge. And so being a warm, loving, strong father to me is a figure that's important. Anyone can be a parent, anyone can have a child.
All right, so as y'all know, that's Tony Robbins. You know, I think he's a great motivational speaker, but you know, like everybody, you got to take the good and leave the bad. But on this particular comment, I liked what he said, because I do feel like there are a difference between fathers and what you would just call a dad, but I definitely feel like in this generation there are a lot more fathers than get credit. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot more fathers and men out here who are trying to better their children, give them the more of an opportunity for what they're looking for, and don't get the credit. But you know, Coach, what did you think about what he said?
No, I definitely think, you know what I'm saying, I mean, father, dad, whatever you call it. I mean, I think you know what I'm saying. There's both in the play, right? You know what I mean. You're gonna be always be daddy once you when you give them what they want. You know what I'm saying. But they'll recognize as you grow up that you were a father for all the things you didn't yield to, right, or all the things that you taught them, right? You know what I mean. And so I think it's just a transition. As kids get older, they recognize the difference. I think there's times for both, right? So you know what I mean. And those times kind of, you know what I'm saying, they you can switch back and forth as they grow because it's going to be needed. Both are needed, right?
Yep.
So I agree with what he said, you know what I'm saying, and the difference between the two, but I definitely believe you need both.
All right, Jamon, what do you think about it?
I'm gonna piggyback on Coach right there because I feel like I'm a great father, but I struggle as being a dad. Because for me, the father is the big picture. The father is the one who envisions the future for their children, what is looking like, the direction I need to be, the standards I need to set for my family, the direction I need to steer my family, my children into. But that dad for me is that day-to-day action activities. For a time I wasn't at home as much because I was working. I was in the military, so I would be in the field or I'd be here and I'm gone somewhere. And so mentally, yes, I'm a dad, but then when I plug back in, I'm struggling. And so now I'm being called on just to be the disciplinarian, but I'm disciplining without love. I'm disciplining for results instead of disciplining, out of love. And so I had to learn how to be a dad. And so I don't think my perspective, my take is much different than Tony Robbins or even coaches, but I just see those as two different hats.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. And I definitely believe in that sometimes you have to be the bad guy. You know what I'm
Sometimes you gotta
saying?
be okay with
Sometimes you
being
got to
the
be
bad guy.
to protect your child's, and you got to understand that I'm okay. I've had that conversation with even my wife and my daughter where
Yeah.
I told them I was like, I'm okay with being the bad guy. I'm
Yeah.
okay with telling you no because I know the end result. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying? I know the end result of all this, and you may not understand it now, but you'll thank me later.
Yep, that's my
And I
father.
keep it.
My father told me years ago. That's right.
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely something that I do believe in, and I definitely know that it's part of my role. And to be honest with you, that's one of the things that I take the most pride in. Because I tell my wife, I'm like, nah, I'm saying, I have to do it. And to be honest with you, I have to do it for both of them.
Yeah.
My wife too. And
Yeah.
trust me, she gives me a lot more hell about saying no.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
like I said, that's because her father give her everything she asked for. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, so that was I thought that was a good one to bring up. I'll bring up the next one since
But hold on, once
last
before you go into that,
Mhm.
the first time I've ever seen my dad cry, Father's Day about 5 years ago. My father passed last year. Actually, my mother and my father passed last year. But Father's Day 5 years ago, I gave my dad a card, and all the card said on the inside was "Thank you for being the bad guy." He read that card and tears just fell out of his face, like somebody poked a hole in a water balloon, just gushing water. I'm just like, then he's hugging me. I got water tears dripping down my neck. I'm like, all right, Pop, okay, man, you good? Dang. And then it didn't dawn on me until later that day what I did for him. I validated his whole parenting journey. And I'm like, dang. So yeah, be comfortable when you have to be the bad guy. Because if you never have to be the bad guy, then you ain't really stepping up somewhere. Because somebody gonna try to violate some principle at some point, and you got to be okay with being like, nah, not happening here, partner.
Agree.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into. Let's go to the last reel. And like I said, I really like this one as well because it kind of incorporates what we're talking about this week and what we talked about last week. So, go and make sure the volume's on. And
my kids to think I was a good dad. That's my legacy. I don't, all this other shit, it doesn't mean anything to me. It's like people who don't have kids, they don't get it. Right? But you will. When you have a kid, you'll understand it. If you don't, then you'll never understand it. You have a completely different life. It's about where we going, what trip, this, that. But once you have kids and you start to raise your kids, really that's what it's all about. Your real legacy is, I think about money, right? All these things that you do with family and friends and stuff with your money creates memories. Then you fucking die. And only a handful of people will remember you, right? And most of them are your kids and close family. And they'll be like, remember that time that we went here? Remember the time we did this? Remember the time we did that? That is your legacy. Yeah. That's what it's about. Yeah. Your life is about creating memories with the people that you care about. And then when you're dead, that's what they remember. And then when they have kids, you will have influenced them in ways, hopefully, to do the same type of things with their family. I want my...
All right, Jamon, I'm going to go ahead and let you go first on that. What did you think about what he said? And, you know.
That's a perspective I hadn't thought of in those terms. I do ascribe making memories as being your legacy, because but now we're in an era where we have social media. So, you know, my kids will be able to go back and look at videos that I've done, places that I've gone and spoken, and your podcast, you know, they'll be able to come back and your kids will be able to be like, well, no, let's see what Pop did. So we put more out there right now, but it is memories are what makes life really worth living. When you look back at the good times, and they truly do make you laugh, they make you smile, it almost takes you back to that place when it was happening. And it just, if I'm really going through some challenges, I think about good times, good memories, whether it's with friends, whether it's with parents, whether with siblings, and those are the things that bring me back to life. So I like that, what he said. Life is about making the memories. And I think if we focus more on making the memories, we live a better life.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Coach, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just looking up these games right now. But I definitely think the memories have I definitely think that the memories are key to the legacy. That's what they're gonna remember. You know, I'm big on traveling with my kids. It doesn't really matter gifts and stuff and all that stuff. That none of that matters to me anymore, really. So it's kind of like you know what I'm saying, focusing on those memories, they will never ever forget that. You know what I mean? So that I agree totally with that.
Yeah, I go back to what we said last week, and when we talked about legacy and, you know, inheritance. You know, inheritance is something that you give somebody on the outside, money, house, cars, stuff like that. Legacy is the things that you give them on the inside. It's the things that, you know, you can't buy. It's the moments, it's the time that you taught them that lesson. It's that prayer. You know what I'm saying? I talk about that legacy of, you know, the people that prayed for me. And I still remember that. I still remember it like it was yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I remember when your mom prayed for me. I remember when Pastor Dorsey prayed for us. You know what I'm saying? And I remember when, you know, Pastor Kane's wife prayed. And I remember when she was praying, I looked at her and she was glowing. And I was like, yo, what is going on? Like, what? Am I really that bad? Like, I started looking around. I was like, yo, it's a lot of sinners out here. Why are you praying this hard for me? You know what I'm saying? So, but, you know, even those prayers, legacy, you know, that was something that was instrumental to me. You know what I'm saying? At my older age, when I go back to God and I go back to Christ and I see those things, I still remember these people because I know that these people were genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't tell me that these people weren't, because I experienced it. You know what I'm saying? And the same thing for you. Like your legacy, you know, I don't want nobody telling my legacy from 16 to 22. Like, please don't come to my funeral. I don't want you telling no stories. It's zero. You know what I'm saying? But legacy, you know, the guy that I am now and the things that I'm installing in my kids, you know, I have 3 great kids. And they're my legacy, the things that I put inside them that have brought them to the places that they are now is my legacy. So, you know, I just think it's definitely very much important. And like you said, even this show, that's why, you know, Coach always told me that we want to make sure we're making something that our kids can look at and be proud of us, not look at us and us not be proud. And also, Coach also told me about that Christmas thing about, you know, not putting it so much as gifts, but, you know, now start making memories with your children as the gift. Yeah, because that's something that's going to, you know, the toys, you know, we end up throwing away eventually, but those memories will be there forever. So, you know, I always thought that was a good thing to definitely practice and definitely install. And I'm so proud of my children. So if they're watching, let them know that as well. And but unfortunately, we got to get to these terrible picks where I give away your inheritance, kids. So $20 at a time. I'm just giving it away very, very badly. But before we get into that, I want to thank you again for coming to the show. Thank you for joining us here. Everybody who's watching today, if you're watching tomorrow, please just go on there, follow my man, follow the Father Figure Institute, follow these things that he's doing. I'm grateful for your time of coming here, and it's definitely is. I would love to I'm going ahead and put my ass to invite you back again because I still think there's a lot of things that we can talk about the book that we didn't touch. And like I said, what you're doing embraces everything that I want for dad mentality. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to know that, you know, your hard work is being seen, even if you don't see that people are seeing it. Because I'm not gonna lie, before I reached out to you, I thought about it internally hard. Because I was like, he's gonna think I'm, because let's get some straight. Like, I'll be honest with you, you know, I'm not the best at hanging out with family. You know what I'm saying? Not my immediate family is great, but anything outside of my brothers, you know, I've been known as the black sheep in my family. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want me around. I point everything out very quickly. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, outside of this, you know, my family, my sister who I love, my brothers who I love, and this, that, and the other, I'm not very great, you know. Unfortunately, if you ask in Henderson, North Carolina about me, you're probably going to hear the 16-year-old me stories. So I'm gonna let you know that now. I ain't the same guy. So if you do ask anybody down there about me, I'm gonna tell you the stories ain't gonna be great, brother. Unless you ask my sister. She's the only one that'll give you the for real now, because like I said, I stopped going down there once I got old enough to be able to tell them I ain't going down there no more. But you know, I caused a little havoc, just a little bit. But,
Look,
you know.
I already told you what I was doing, so.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, selling crack on Saturday, going to church on Sunday is that's pretty. But I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't that far from that either. You know, we talk about how Coach and we used to have weapons in the church and do all kinds of stuff. You know, but you know, the great thing is we had a youth pastor that really never gave up on us and awesome. Prayed for us and loved us no matter what. So yes, sir. That was the great thing there. So anyway, let's get ready to get to these terrible picks, and you know, have some. So you got on your shirt the Fatherhood Conference. Is that something you're doing? Is that something you went to? Where's that at? I'm curious.
It's the Fatherhood Conference.
Yeah, this is North Carolina Fatherhood Conference. Okay. It's a yearly event that is held by the by agency here. That's the agency, NC Fatherhood Conference here in Raleigh, North Carolina. They do it once a year, the weekend before or after Father's Day.
Okay.
Yeah, and so
Good
I
stuff.
partner with those good people out there every year, and we do a little something.
Okay.
All right. I really like that program. I really like your program, man. It's something that's going to flourish for sure.
For sure. Yeah, he's
Well, we
cutting off his
appreciate
camera
you.
because he got to look up the games.
Yeah, I do.
You know.
I
So
do.
anyway,
Okay.
but all right. So what's the games, man?
Hold on
What's
one
the
sec.
games?
I'm pulling. Hold on one sec. Give me one sec. I'm
I
pulling it
already
up.
know which terrible ones you're gonna pick. Hold on, let's see. Oh, we played the Chargers this week. All right.
It don't even matter.
No, all right. So that's
I'm
what
gonna
we're
be on
doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing today.
Jaden to be back this
The
week, sir. I'm a
49ers,
Commanders fan.
the
Just give
49ers
you.
at the Rams.
All right. Let's go. 49ers at the Rams.
It's
They
Thursday night.
have the Rams to win by 5.5 points.
Agreed.
It's a Thursday night game, so good. I'll find out if I lose my money early.
Yep.
So let's who you got? Hold on. First, what's your team? Because before you start talking trash about anybody else's team, I need to know who your team is, sir.
Well, my team will be the Carolina Panthers. You know,
We got yep. They're up. So
I'm
Shout
here in
out-
Carolina, so you know,
Shout
hey,
out to Sergeant Garrett, who's also a Carolina fan, and let him know that just like we told him, we're going to tell you, you're a terrible pick for a fan. There we go. That's a terrible pick to have there, but we'll go ahead and let it.
I picked
let
him
it
before he
go.
was terrible. When I picked him, Sam Mills was still playing.
Okay.
Got it. Understood.
All right, so we got the 49ers versus the Rams. Rams favored by 5.5 points. We don't do the points. We only do who's going to win the game. So the points don't matter. It's just who's going to win the game. So, Coach, who you got? I know you got the Rams, of course, because you have a play on the Rams. All right. Well, at least this time it may work out for me. All right. So the Rams or San Francisco? Who you got?
I'm gonna take the Niners. It's the Brock Purdy back, so I'm gonna take the Niners.
All right. Well, now we have now experienced that this man makes terrible life decisions.
He does.
So,
Yeah, it makes some sense.
you know, unfortunately, we get to this part of the show, and now we have to question everything you said. So we're gonna go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and put the Rams because the Rams are definitely going to win that game. And I couldn't go to 49ers because Daryl, one of my boys, watched the shows and he would go nuts if I picked the Niners. Louisa picked your choice too. She says the Niners. Hey, Funny Man Green, where you at? I know you always pick two. Where you at with your terrible pick? All right. So I got the Rams. All right, what's next?
Next game is Cowboys at the Jets. That's an easy one.
Right. The good news is if the 49ers do win, Jamon, you get to then ridicule us. So, but what was the next? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Cowboys at the Jets.
Cowboys at the Jets. Well, you know who I'm not picking, but I'm gonna go ahead and let Jamon Glover go first. Cowboys at the Jets. The Cowboys are predicted to win by 2.5 points. They're playing
Cowboys.
at the Jets. Coach, you got the Cowboys? They're playing in New York.
Cowboys.
Coach is saying Cowboys.
I just can't pick a Cowboys to do nothing, so I'm going with the Jets.
My man.
Oh, he just made his day.
Yeah, thank you.
You ready
so
for
much.
the next one?
So much. Thank you for the Jets. I'll take that. The Jets
Next
will
one.
be the winner in that one. Yeah, go ahead. What's next?
Raiders Colts.
Raiders Colts.
My phone is on 6%. That's one.
All right. Raiders Colts. The Colts are predicted to win by 6.5 points.
Take the Colts.
You'll take the Colts. I already know Coach is taking the Colts, so that's
you already know. I don't know why y'all even
he got a player in the Colts and he has a player on the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's next?
It's next is the Texans at the Ravens.
The Texans at the Ravens. Where is that game? Is one of them playing right now?
Texans at the Ravens.
Texans might be playing right now.
Hold on, let's see.
No, Jets and Dolphins playing tonight.
It's two games though tonight.
Bengals and Broncos.
Bengals and Broncos. Yeah. All right. So
that's why I had to skip over the other one. Texans. Ravens.
Oh, I found it. All right. So the Ravens are predicted to win by 3.5 points. Yeah. So And they're playing at Baltimore Stadium. They won this week or they lost this week?
Oh, they lost. Lamar got
They
hurt
lost
too.
to Kansas City.
Oh yeah, Lamar's hurt.
Yeah, Lamar.
Yeah.
Hamstring.
Yep. I say Texans.
I ain't watched them play though. I don't know what they doing. I know they
Yeah,
losing.
They beat the brakes off the Titans last week.
Off Titans?
Off of who?
Yeah, the Titans. The Titans terrible, but they beat them last week.
Hell, the way the
gonna
Ravens giving up rushing yards right now.
Yeah.
Who's the Ravens backup?
It's not
Somebody you ain't never seen before.
Yeah. It is.
They still got Derrick Henry, unless he's still fumbling. I ain't watched that game. So
He didn't fumble this week. But the defensive line had 4 injuries. And they lost the QB. So they had 5 key injuries in this game.
All right, so who you picking, sir? The Texans or the Ravens? The line still has the Ravens to win by 3.5.
I believe in John Harbaugh, so I'm gonna go with the Ravens still.
Oh, now you're gonna make me have to pick. You picked the Texans, right, Coach?
Yeah.
Only because Coach is a super hater. I'm going Ravens.
All right. That's fine.
All right.
Commanders.
I already know the last one.
Commanders at the Chargers.
Yes, the Commanders at the Chargers. I already know Coach's pick. And this time I will actually put it in. So let's go with Jamon Glover. Sorry, I always want to say Jamon, but Jamon Glover. And we're going to go now. Let's make sure everybody knows that Daniels is coming back. And no, Louisa, we don't want to look at your pick. She has the Ravens. She also had the Colts. So she had the Cowboys, Colts, Ravens, and now she's picking the Chargers to beat the Commanders, but they just had a loss, and Jaden Daniels is coming back, and they said he could have played this week, but they held him out, so I think he's going to be healthy for next week. But they have the Chargers winning by 2.5.
You already know who I'm picking, so Jamal,
I already know you put the Chargers.
Go ahead.
I think I'm gonna go with.
I'm
gonna go with the Commanders. Let's go with the Commanders.
Thank you, my man. See, I knew we was related. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, right? JR. Thank you very much. I
mean, it's okay. That. You know what I'm saying? Like
the Chargers ain't been good since Phillip Rivers.
We're gonna be 4-0 next week, and then it's gonna be right down to the Commanders, and they're gonna let everybody down like they normally do, and that's gonna be the end of it.
All
right.
So real quick, just to let you know, Coach was the biggest Commanders fan back in the days we were growing up. So don't let him sit here and act like he's just you know.
That sounds like some
saying?
Hurt in his voice. There's some trauma, unhealed trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. It's real trauma. It's not. It's not. Yeah. It's
hey man, I'm a Panthers fan, trauma. So I understand.
It's real. Yeah.
I understand.
You know. But then he claimed that loyalty to a fault thing, right? But look at him.
He did say that.
Yeah.
Hey, I said, but it became to my detriment. So I realized that I made the change. Like, what are we talking about?
All right. So shout out to the Real Funny. They like this show. Sitting in my man LA Josh Preston and all those guys. Yes, it was definitely a good show. I appreciate you coming and hanging out with that. I said Dad Mentality this week. Next week we'll have another great show for y'all. Actually, is next week? Hold on. Next week, Kendra. No, Kendra's the week after. Sorry. Kendra Smith will be joining us. And also got another great guest who will be joining us right after that. So we'll definitely do some great things. All y'all know Lady K Wellness is going to join us and talk to us about how unhealthy we are. And she'll probably also talk about how she was whipping my ass in them classes that I went to with her, where she was helping me get in shape, helping me lose the weight. I have now quit that class. So because I'm going out of town this weekend for the trip. So I'm good. I got my sexy dad bod. My wife likes what has happened so far. I haven't quit the class, but you know, I'm taking a little break. I'm gonna get back into working out with Lady K. She does a great job. Thank you, Jamon Glover, for joining us again, Coach. Thank you, sir, for coming to join us. It was a great episode. I'll have the reels out shortly. Y'all know what it is. It's dad mentality.
Cool. All right, I'm gonna hit you in like 10 minutes.
All right.